I'm joined now by Kelsey Hogan, founder of Claimed & Co. Thank you so much for being here, Kelsey. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Robyn.
So I'm super excited to learn more about Claimed & Co. Obviously, I follow you on social media, so I know a little bit, but for someone who's listening and maybe doesn't know, what is Claimed & Co.?
So I love that we met on social media, and that really is the point of what I do. So Claimed & Co. is a digital marketing and content studio for women, female founders, women business owners, and women that aspire to start a business. We do social media management on the agency side, email marketing, content days, and I also do mentorship. So I have group mentorship and private mentorship for female founders and other women entrepreneurs. And my big message is that I want to create the opportunity for more women to do more of the things that they want in life. What lights you up? I want to help you create that vision and that dream.
I love that, because what I'm finding through doing this podcast and speaking mainly with like women founders, especially moms, is we need to create these spaces for ourselves, because what is the traditional corporate environment, your old school 9 to 5, wasn't made for us. It's impossible. Like, how do you get your kids to school on time by 9, but you start work at 9 and then you have to pick them up at 3, but you finish at 5? Like, it's just not feasible.
It really isn't. And I've seen things change over the past several years. I think with COVID, there was more flexibility given to working parents in general with the work from home mandates. But I'm going to tell you, it's all shifting back, and parents are not prioritized in corporate. And that is why you see so many women either just leaving and just staying home with the kids, or leaving and starting a business, because quite frankly, we can't do all of the things our best right now. And we need to make, a difference. And I think that's what so many women are realizing. Even as a young person, it was hard to balance life and the corporate demands and the lack of flexibility. So as a parent, it's impossible.
Yeah, and especially, we don't want to exclude fathers from the conversation, but if we're being honest here, mothers are doing the bulk of the child care and the child rearing. That's still how it is. And what constantly gets brought up is, fathers today are spending 3 times as much time with their fathers today are spending 3 times as much time with their kids as their fathers were. But when you really look at the numbers, it's like they went from spending 20 minutes a day to 60 minutes a day.
Right. I know. I have seen that stat too, which is boggling, but I totally agree with you. Fathers are more involved, and we love an involved dad. But when it comes to the mental load, when it comes to being the default parent, I do believe it's majority of the time the mom.
Yep. And the expectation is there. Like, even schools are going to call mom first and reach out to mom. And
it's just the go-to. It is the go-to. The mom is the go-to for everyone and everything, right?
Yes. So how do moms in 2025 balance everything? Being a good mom, being a business owner, or, being, a boss bitch who's climbing the corporate ladder. How do you balance it all?
Oh, I think balance is such a scam. It's not a balance anymore, because one side is not equaling the other at any given time. We're giving more at work. We're giving more at home. I like to think of it as a coexistence. How am I going to create this coexistence and marriage between work me and mom me and at home me and me for myself? Because we also need to remember that we are humans that need to take care of our minds and our bodies and our spirits. So it's creating a balance. And for me, what that looks like is figuring out, how am I going to structure my days, my weeks, in order to make sure that I'm prioritizing this aspect as much as I need to, so that I can then have more over here. So for example, when I have to work after the kids are at school and I need to be on the computer, there's that understanding, and we're talking to our kids about, being a work from home mom and being an entrepreneur, and teaching them these skills early on, that these are the things and the little sacrifices that we make as a family in order to have that really amazing vacation, or in order to have mom present at, the school parties. So it's, again, another piece on our list is creating that mix and making sure that where you take from one, you're giving to the other just as much. So I think it's the coexistence. And a piece of it really is for me is that self-care and making sure that you're weaving in, whether it's working out, meditation, massages, time alone, journaling, to help protect your mental clarity and your mindset. Because when we lose that, really is when we become sticky, angry mom. And then we're mad at people at work. And then we're mad at our kids. And then we're just angry all the time. And it's so easy to fall into that. My mom was like that. I can see myself like that. That's where it's like checking ourselves constantly to kind of make sure that we're in a good headspace. Because if mom's not in a good headspace, I don't think the house is going to be in a good headspace either.
It's that old expression, right? Happy wife, happy life. I mean,
yeah. It's old school, but it still rings true.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about like really prioritizing your own self-care. Like I went to get my hair done this morning, for example, and originally I was going to bring my laptop because I was like, oh, I have so much work to do. And I was like, no, you can take 2 hours for yourself to just relax and gossip with your hairstylist.
Right.
Enjoy it. And I'm glad I did. It means I'll be very busy this afternoon, but it was still really important, I think. So what are some ways that you specifically unwind or prioritize self-care?
That is such a uniquely like mom today situation that you mentioned, because I absolutely bring my laptop to the hair salon. And did we ever see that 20 years ago? We never, I mean, we didn't have laptops. Maybe 20 years ago we did, but I don't think we had Wi-Fi. Still, it's a very uniquely, 2025 mom scenario. For me, I have found that working out more, it's number one, it's the time that I'm giving myself. And I think it is that serotonin and it's those endorphins that are help keeping me just, motivated and strong mentally and physically. I actually have self-care that I do. I have a compression mat that I lay on, and this is like my relaxation tool. I do it every single night, and it's one of those things that, again, it's like that mind body, the psychosomatic, where it's my time to just lean into these like acupressure spikes. And truly, I posted about it on Instagram a few days ago, just, here's my little, can't wait to dive in on my mat. And so many people message me, what is that? I need that. It's like these little things. It's a tiny little habit that I've just developed, and it's part of my routine that I know is important. I've prioritized walking more, getting up more, and taking more breaks. So walking my dog more, it benefits the dog and it benefits me. That vitamin D is so, so critical. I'm working with a functional health practitioner right now, which is actually part of my dedication to myself, because I turned 40 last year, and I said, this is when I start prioritizing my hormones, and I'm having fatigue, I'm having burnout. So even giving myself that 6-month stretch where I'm going into this functional medicine type practice and getting to the root cause of some of these symptoms that so many moms are experiencing, like that is self-care right there. Because we think, I don't have time to dedicate 6 months to this program and learn about and take a urine test and then get on a Zoom. Well, it has been immensely helpful. So even prioritizing your physical health, which in a way, this is also the wellness piece, but is so huge. So those are just some of the things. It's really that blend of these physical things and that lead into the mental, because I think we forget that when we're working at a desk, we're very sedentary, and that's not good for like the skeleton and the brain and the blood flow. So it's like, I want to think of myself as an active person, but then I'm sitting at a desk 10 hours a day. It's like, the math isn't mathing. So there's so many ways, and it's not a one size fits all, which is great, right? Like there's so many different ways. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be expensive, but we do have to put ourselves first. And once you kind of dip your toe in how that feels, it's a lot easier to stick to it.
Yeah, I find what works for me is trying to remind myself to be present in the moments that I'm in. So if I am working, I'm focused on my work. And if I'm with my daughter, I am focused on my time with my daughter. So that's, the work-life balance for me is being in the moment of what it is that I'm doing. Because I find it very easy to, take your kid to the park and let them run around and play and start answering emails on your phone. And, I'm not saying I don't do that. We all fall, victim to that sometimes. But I try to remind myself, like, no, like my daughter's 3. She's only going to be this little once. And I need to appreciate it because I know that like 10 years from now, I'm going to miss sitting at the park watching her, awkwardly climb things because she's 3, and she won't want to talk to me anymore because she's a teenager. So I better enjoy it now, right?
That's so true. And yeah, that presence piece is a big part of creating that coexistence. And right, even if you're thinking, well, my kid's running at the park, why don't I just pop on my phone, which we all do. When you do put your phone down and kind of just like sit there and sort of romanticize the moment that you're in and wave, and they're watching, they're looking at you to see if you're watching them. So it is really important. And I think, again, it's for your mindset. Just that ease and that letting go of the work sometimes is so, so important.
Absolutely. I want to talk also about, like brand building. Obviously, this is something you're heavily invested in with the digital space, as am I as a podcast producer. And when I work with business owners, one of the most common things I hear is that I didn't realize when I opened my business that I would have to be a content creator also. They're like, I just wanted a bakery. I just wanted, to be a real estate agent. They're like, I didn't expect that I'd have to become an influencer overnight, basically. So, what are you seeing with people you're working with and what their expectations are for their own online presence?
That feeling of I did not sign up for full-time content creation is unanimous across the board with every business owner that I work with. And even in the past 2 years with the video and really the editing and all that it takes, it's not just a picture anymore. It is a very universal feeling. So, I mean, I want everyone to feel very seen in that. And for me, this is something that I really help people with because there's a piece of it at a certain point. It's either you're outsourcing it and you're bringing someone on, whether it's an agency or you're hiring someone internally or tasking it internally, or you're understanding how to do it yourself and you're making that time as part of your daily job. If I'm working in my bakery 40 hours a week, 5 of those are going to be social media content, and I'm building that into my schedule. And I'm also learning how to do it properly so that I'm not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and then wondering why nobody's showing up and why the message isn't connecting. So that I mean, I offer all of those things at my business and I hear it every day. So I'm like, hire this person, train this person, hire our team, come coach with me and learn how to do it yourself. Like there's so many different ways to go about it, but it is very true that it is an essential piece of business today. So it's just figuring out who's going to run it for you, how are you going to manage it, and how are you going to make the time for it? Because being consistent online is required. So if you can't be consistent, then it's not really going to work. So that's another piece. And I do hate to say it sometimes, but like it is a big job, and it has to be part of somebody's job for any business today.
100%. And I do think that there's still an element of devaluing the work, which I find it's very counterintuitive because they'll say, I don't have time for this. This is so much work. I don't have time to learn how to edit. But, oh my God, why do you charge so much to do all of these things that I totally just acknowledged are a ton of work? So there's this bit of, I don't know, it's like a weird dichotomy with business owners who don't want to do it. They want it all done for them, but they aren't willing to invest. So I find, making folks see the value in what it is that you're providing is half the battle. Not to mention, as I'm sure you're very well aware, the social landscape is just constantly changing, like what works,
Yes.
what doesn't work. It's very different. And I think for a lot of people, they want to see their accounts have thousands and thousands of followers. They want all their videos to go viral. And that's what they think is a measure of success. So trying to communicate what success really looks like can be part of the battle, right?
Absolutely. And we talk about this a lot in my group coaching program. And it's innate to want more people because you think more people, more money. But if you think about it, if you have 500 followers and nobody's buying, adding 2,000 more people isn't going to make people buy because the message isn't connecting. So your content is bridging a gap from where people are and where they want to be. And if they do not understand that bridge via your content, then they are not going to purchase from you. So yes, we love more followers. We love a viral moment. We love more visibility, but the messaging has to be there, and you have to know that it's working in order for that virality piece or the, huge influx of followers piece to make sense. There's so many people online, on TikTok, on Instagram, influencers, for example, that have millions of followers, but they're not making money. They're making no money. And being a full-time influencer, content creator, someone that posts their Amazon hauls, that's a full-time job. It's a lot of work, and it's very, very hard to make a living that way. So just a reminder that dollar signs and money is not equal to number of followers. And there are people with very small followings making a lot of money online because they know what to say to activate their audience and really display and emphasize that transformation and that lifestyle that they're going to allow this person to create with their service or with their product. If it's a book, if it's a bakery item, they are connecting, and it's that messaging piece. And when you start relating and people start getting it, your following is going to grow organically because it's working and people get it. So I want people to really step back from the idea of how many followers and say, are my current followers engaged? Are they activated? Why not? How am I speaking to them? What am I trying to convey? What do they want and how can I get them there? And really, really, really honing that messaging. It's the messaging. That's the piece that's missing. It's not the algorithm that's keeping you stuck. It's your content and your messaging and your clarity that is keeping you stuck.
And I find people's social media habits have shifted somewhat. It used to be people were liking and commenting a ton. And I've noticed overall engagement is just down. That's just something that I've noticed. But business.
Sorry, one second.
No worries. I'll just Is there someone at the door?
I don't know. Hold on, let me check. Oh, gosh. Get out of here right now. Go. The troubles of working from home.
Yeah, I feel it. My daughter busted in at one point, but I muted it.
You're
okay,
smart.
I'll take that back.
Okay.
I've noticed that people's online habits have changed significantly. People are just engaging less with content, but I haven't noticed a dip in business as a result. Like, a lot of my business comes from LinkedIn, and people are following me on LinkedIn. They're not liking, they're not commenting, they're not interacting with my content, but they're DMing me and they're buying. So people are paying attention. So I've been finding that my overall impressions are a metric that I pay more attention to lately, as opposed to followers and engagements. What are you seeing?
Yes, so I will totally agree with you that engagement overall is down. And there's reasons, right? And this is what I talk to people about, is that we can't control what season it is or what's happening socially or in the economy or the fact that it's back to school or that the algorithm and the people working at Instagram are trying something new and everyone's engagement is tanking. We cannot control that, and we can't stress over it. But yeah, I will say that the people...
Can I ask you, sorry to interrupt you, how you feel about... So I absolutely loathe the fact that I can go on Instagram Reels and look at what my friends have liked, just scroll through, because now when I'm scrolling, I'm reticent to like some content because I don't want people to see that I've liked that content. So I'm wondering if that's changing people's engagement habits.
It could be. I think that... people just are, the attention span is very, very small. So even to do the step of the like is one step. And the comment is a whole other step. And there's more noise and more action coming at us from every angle when we're scrolling, that slowing down to do that is like, it's almost just beyond people. I really, really promote engaging and engagement when you are a business owner, because the more that you outwardly engage, the more that does say to the algorithm, hey, this person is active and using our app and connecting with people, so we want to bring people to them. And I always use this analogy. So if you're stuck complaining, well, only 2 people commented on my Instagram post. If you reply back to those comments, you now have 4 comments on your Instagram post. So you just doubled your engagement by being active and actively engaging. So I know we're talking about engagement being down on, the incoming, but there's that outgoing engagement piece that so many people miss. It's that post and ghost. I post it and then I just leave it, and then I come back and I wonder why it still has 1 like. Or it's the set it and forget it method where we're not outwardly engaging. Personally, I have a team that works under me, and I have someone that is actively engaging on behalf of my brand going out there, liking, commenting on relevant brands, people that we follow, people that we don't follow, and just keeping that community buzz going. And that is what the algorithm really does like to see. So don't quit, and don't forget about your own outward engagement. Yes, you want people coming to you. The more that you reach out, people are going to come to you. If you're a party and you're the host, you need to be out there mixing and mingling. Your Instagram is the party, and you need to be out there inviting people and tapping into them and saying, hey, guess what? Oh my God, I love this. Replying to the story, being genuine, being interested in other people will make them interested in you, because that's that authentic human to human piece that I think we so often forget when we're running a business online, that people connect to humans and they want that authenticity.
Yeah, I love that. Like showing up on other brands and other people's comment sections and being thoughtful about what it is that you're posting, you know, not just liking or putting a heart emoji, like actually putting a well thought out comment. I wish actually that we had more data on how our comments perform on other people's content, because I know sometimes my notification centers will be blowing up because like one of my comments will go viral basically, because the more people like and respond to a comment, it pops up higher so more people see it. I have literally comments on TikTok that have like 44,000 likes on my comment on a piece of content that's not even mine.
Isn't that so funny? I have one on an Instagram that just won't die, and it's like a comment I left 3 months ago on something. It was totally unrelated to my business, so I'm not getting any sort of clout for this, but it just keeps popping up because I commented it and people are just jumping on it. So yeah, that's always an interesting phenomenon. I mean, it is going viral in a way for your thought, but a lot of times it's just, again, it's not related to our business. It's not going to help us, but hey, I mean, I guess it's drawing people to me. People are probably clicking through to see who I am, and whether or not they're going to follow is another thing. And that's the thing with anything viral, right? Going viral is amazing, but you might not get any followers from it. You know, I've had really viral moments where it was like a one and done. It was like, oh, that was so funny, click, moving on to the next. Or I've had ones that were like, I saw a huge influx of following to the point that I had to actually mute like my notifications in the app, because it was just, you open the app and it was just flooding and I couldn't even see comments. So it's just so interesting the way it works sometimes, is that you can't guarantee new followers, new eyeballs. Going viral for fun, which people love, and that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean more people in your community that are going to potentially buy from you.
Yeah, especially if you have like a brick and mortar storefront of some sort, you know. Does it really matter if you went viral in East Asia? Like, those people are not coming to your store, right? So,
right.
And I always say, like, be careful what you wish for, because I've gone viral many times and it's not always fun. Like, sometimes the comments, it doesn't even matter if it's controversial or not. The comment sections, they're going to criticize how you look or your background or something. They're going to find something to criticize. So if you don't have a thick skin, going viral can be actually really difficult.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a piece of that thick skin, and really kind of understanding that going viral is putting yourself on this platform almost like a celebrity in a way, where you're just kind of set up to be judged for any little thing that's totally unrelated to your business. And we see this happening a lot on TikTok, where people are going viral for the wrong reasons, and even if they went viral for a great reason, half the people in the comments are ripping them down about this, that, or the other thing. So, you know, it is something to certainly prepare for, because I think just as an average human and as a business owner, someone that started a brick and mortar wasn't expecting to be torn down on the internet. And that can really impact your psyche and your mental health and your self-confidence. So there is definitely something to be said for just kind of like taking a step back from that too, and realizing again, like this is the internet, and this is a place where weird stuff can happen. And I can't take it too hard, and I can't take it too seriously when nobody likes it, or when too many people like it, and then people are yelling at me and in my DMs calling me, you know, bad things. It's just, ooh, it's the Wild West out there, and it's a new place for us as a business owner. Same with, we're creating content and we're being put on these platforms to be judged by the entire world. So it's a whole new territory for us, and we're just learning. And as you mentioned earlier, it evolves every day. So we can't even really plan for what's next, other than just understand what's happening now and just do our best.
Do you find that now that you work in digital marketing and social media, that the way you consume social media for pleasure has changed? Like I find I still love to scroll TikTok and Reels, obviously, like that's what I like to do when I unwind, but I can't help but be like, "Ooh, why'd they edit it that way?" Or, "Oh, that's an inspo for a client," like constantly. So it has totally changed my relationship with
It's so interesting.
social.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked in this field actually in public relations for almost 20 years. And then that's when Facebook, and really not even for business, it was just personal, was kind of coming into play. But I will absolutely say that when I'm scrolling, this is oftentimes like market research. I'm saving to folders that I have collections of inspiration for myself or for a client. I'm forwarding it to a client or a team member and saying, let's get on this, let's do that, which I mean is good in a way. It's not doom scrolling. But when I'm in bed at night and I'm on TikTok, that's the doom. That is the doom scroll right there, because there's I'm not sending ideas at that point. And I don't really get to do that enjoying. Like I don't go on Instagram for personal, and so a lot during the day. So things happen in the world that I just don't know about because I've been working, and if I have been on Instagram, it's not on my page, it's a business, and I'm not looking at anyone else's stuff. I'm truly posting, engaging, reading DMs. I'm not scrolling the feed. So I do miss out on a lot on like a daily basis. I kind of learn things after the fact, just of what's happening in the world of the internet today. So yeah, it's interesting. And I think there's this new sort of phenomenon that it's like, get off your phone, stop scrolling. Well, number one, sir, this is my job. This is how I make a living and feed my family and my kids. And that's true for a lot of business owners, not just digital marketing experts, but if you're creating content for your bakery, if you run a stationery company, if you are a coach or a wellness coach, you're training people online. So yes, of course, there's something to be said for being present, which is what we talked about earlier. But there's this kind of idea that when you're on your phone, you're not invested in life and the conversation. You're just sucked into the screen, and it's like, no, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. And newsflash, we're all on computers now. We're all on computers all day. It's the same thing. It's just a smaller screen. And that's kind of just the way of the world now. So it's that understanding for some of these older generations that think all we're doing is just scrolling and playing and messing around. And no, we're building empires here, guys.
Yes. And like a lot of the content on social media is very high caliber. Like on TikTok, when they introduce like more long form content, like I'm watching full documentaries on TikTok sometimes that are like 10, 15 minutes in 4 parts, I love it for live events that are happening, getting that like on the ground voice when something is going on is invaluable, for information sharing and also just community building. So beyond from a brand perspective, like I really found an amazing community of moms who want to be moms, basically, when I was doing IVF. And I literally don't think I could have survived infertility without all of the women that I met on TikTok through that community. So it's not silly when you forge these like lifelong friendships and support systems with people you've never met, that you never would have met without social media.
It's so incredible. And Robyn, we actually are very similar in that way, because this was in the 2017 timeline that I started struggling with secondary infertility. And this is kind of how I got into social media after working in PR, is that I started developing this personal brand online by meeting women in these support groups for infertility, secondary infertility, IVF, and people started flocking to my Instagram. And I was blogging about it, and I was talking about it on Instagram, just on my personal page. I grew thousands and thousands of followers and really became like a personal brand influencer for this topic, and creating awareness around it, and being someone that had gone through it and been through several rounds of IVF and the ups and downs, and then finally having success. I kind of had like a lot of advice to give and support and knowledge on the topic because I'd been going through it for so long. And that is really what led me into social media, because businesses locally started telling me, well, Kelsey, you're so great on social media. Like, would you run our social media? It was my gym that asked me, and I said, sure. And that's kind of like how I started dabbling in it. So yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, this was like personal branding really before I ever talked about it as, a business coach and as an agency owner, but the connections are so genuine and so true. I have met some of my best friends online and on Facebook, guys, and I am not afraid to admit it. I mean, it's like online dating. It's not passé anymore. This is the new normal, and absolutely that community element, which kind of leads me into this idea that the younger generations, Gen Z, Gen A, everything they do is online now. Their community, their social, their work, their news, their shopping. So if you are a business marketing to this group of people, creating community is a priority. It's a must because they expect and demand that from a brand. They want to feel a part of what you are doing. They do not want to feel like the little guy that you're selling to. They want to feel like a piece of the puzzle. And this is like a marketing wheel where we're weaving people into our marketing system versus just selling them through a funnel, which is the old school approach to marketing. So that community piece, I think people are going to understand more and more, is becoming so much more important. And we see it personally, and we also see it with businesses.
I love that. I love that so much. That's a perfect place to wrap, I think. Kelsey Hogan is founder of Claimed & Co. You can follow her on social media. Claimed & Co. on Threads. Is that the same handle for everywhere?
Yes, it is. I've got my handle on Instagram and Threads, and I have a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the next few months that I will be dropping exclusively on social media because that's where I drop everything. Let's be real. So I'm excited for you guys to follow along. And I am a yapper, so come into my DMs and just say hi. I love when people say, oh, I saw you on this podcast. And I'm like, I love that. That's the community piece right there. That's the circle of life these days. So yes, I invite everyone to come and say hi because I just love connecting with new women, new female founders. It's so fun for me. Other mom bosses. I love it.
Me too. We all become each other's biggest cheerleaders. Like everyone who's ever been on this podcast, I'm like actively recommending them for jobs. Like I just love it.
The community is so supportive, and that's what I love. It's like these women, we are out there supporting each other and rooting and right, a new referral for this. Oh, I know her. It's so incredible to see. And I mean, we couldn't have this if we were just in person in our own cities and towns. It's amazing. So we're using the internet for good. And I love that about women and female founders. We're the best.
I love it. All right. Thanks so much, Kelsey. Have a great one.
Thanks, Robyn.
If you like what you heard today, make sure you follow and subscribe to Rebel Mom Boss with Robyn Flynn wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, and make sure to leave a review because that's how other moms will find the podcast too. Until next week.